Whenever the result of any election is announced, it is to ensure that transition from one particular party to another is made through and the government and opposition are settled. But the West Bengal election and the result are not yet in the settling mode. Initially, it was the chief ministership which was in a big question mark, and then the ex-CM was not ready to let go of that post. But now that very ex-CM, Mamata Banerjee, has to think about at least the chair of leader of opposition, because the TMC MLA which was expelled by Mamata Banerjee, he has been chosen as the leader of opposition. But what exactly is unfolding and how exactly constitution is allowing it? Hello everyone, welcome to Vajiram and Ravi's Flash News. My name is Shubhangi Singh, and in today's session we are going to talk about that how can an expelled member can become leader of opposition. Will anti-defection not come into play? What are the provisions of anti-defection law and what exactly is unfolding in West Bengal? So let us begin the story from the expulsion of Mamata Banerjee. Now when we are talking about this MLA, we have to understand the most important thing here, that his expulsion was already done. Now he has been appointed as the leader of opposition, and he is saying that we are the real and main opposition. And this is where another thing has happened, that he has announced that the group of dissident MLAs, they are going to be the representation of real Trinamool Congress, and the good news here is that it is 2/3 of the legislators. It is in that number which can help in bypassing the anti-defection law. And for this to be understood, that why this is not anti-defection, why an expelled MLA is being considered and he's let being part of the legislation process, and also that what is the role of speaker, who gets to decide, everything around it would be understood. So what is the situation as of now? We have TMC and Mamata Banerjee. Amidst that, one person was expelled and he has outrode many other MLAs, and now this new group is saying that we are the real opposition, we are the real Trinamool Congress, and the other faction should not be considered. Amidst this, other newses have also cropped up where Trinamool Congress has gone ahead and dissolved all the committees, subcommittees which existed, and they are trying to work afresh, but there is no exact clarity on this. So today we will be looking into the proper constitutional aspects, starting with understanding the anti-defection law, and that's when we will be able to understand that why an expelled MLA is being allowed to hold his seat. So when we are talking about anti-defection law, first we have to understand that what exactly is defection. Defection is switching from one party to another, and this law was brought in to put a stop to that. Now this law was introduced in 1985 and it was added in the 10th schedule of Constitution. This is applicable to member of parliaments as well, and this is applicable to member of legislative assemblies as well. The whole idea here was to bring political stability and party discipline. That means to put a stop on the Aaya Ram Gaya Ram politics. Now this happened through 52nd constitutional amendment. However, there was another constitutional amendment that was made in this regard, that happened as the 91st constitutional amendment, and that was done in 2003, where it removed the split provision. I'll explain this in detail once we are addressing this. I hope we are clear with this. Now let us move to understand that when we are talking about defection, what are the exact scenarios and what will be considered when an MP and MLA is being disqualified. So in this context, the anti-defection laws clearly say a legislator can be disqualified if he himself gives up the membership of their political party, or he votes or he does not vote, that means abstains as per what has the party whip said without taking the permission from the party whip. So in this context, the members can be disqualified. There are other provisions as well. For example, nominated members. Can you tell me in the comment section when nominated members are considered that they have done defection? What is the disqualification ground? Another thing that we need to understand here, that who decides that if the defection is happened or not, if the disqualification would be done or not, and what is the valid criteria here, that all is decided by the speaker in the legislative assembly in Lok Sabha, and then we have chairman in Rajya Sabha and legislative council. And this is where you have to understand that he is the one who looks at the finality of disqualification petition. Now, can you tell me in the comment section which is the Supreme Court judgment, very important judgment, which told that yes, whatever they say that is final, but at the same time that comes under judicial review. I will be very soon mentioning it, but till then let me know in the comment section. Now, this is clear. Now, when we are talking about voluntarily giving membership of the political party that is eligible for disqualification, please remember that, because that will help us to understand this very scenario. Now, another thing that we need to know from Anti Defection Law, that there is an exception as well, that is a merger exception, which says that if there is at least 2/3 member of the legislature party agree to merge with another party, then disqualification will not happen. Before this, before 2003, the 91st Amendment Act, it was the split, but after that this was brought in. So, if the MLA is going with 2/3 of the party members, that is where it will not be considered for disqualification. Now, the Supreme Court judgment which I asked you about, it was Kihoto Hollohan versus Zachilhu case of 1992. It upheld anti-defection law and it said that the judicial review of speaker's decision can take place. Now, we have all the facts in our hand. What is anti-defection law? The main provisions that we know for the respect of this case. Now, we will move to understand that why Mamata Banerjee's expulsion has not led to his disqualification. Because the anti-defection law clearly says that he has to voluntarily give up his membership. He did not give up his membership, he was expelled. That is why he is not being disqualified from the legislature. And this is coming properly from the constitutional provision of the 52nd constitutional amendment that is mentioned in the 10th schedule. So, this is not coming up randomly, this is placed, this is not even just a convention, just a practice, it has a constitutional basis. Now, another factor that facilitates the position of Mamata Banerjee, which ensures that he has been picked up as leader of opposition, is the 2/3 rule and the merger exception that is given. So, paragraph 4 of 10 schedule talks about the exception, merger exception, when disqualification will not take place. That 2/3 of the legislative party members, if they support the merger, then that merger is valid. So, as of now what we are seeing, that the dissident MLAs, they are claiming support which are more than 2/3 of the legislature party. All they need to do is to prove that these numbers exist and it will not be disqualified, rather it will be just a merger issue. However, it does raise constitutional questions if this is genuine merger or not, if it is politically motivated, if the actual government has a hand in it, and is it a case of political defection. So, a lot of questions are existent around it, but as of now, that how Mamata Banerjee has got in the position of leader of opposition and if disqualification will happen or not, both of the parameters look very solid for Mamata Banerjee and that does not seem to be happening, which is definitely a bad news for Mamata Banerjee. But we need to focus here on the constitutional provisions and the understanding of the concept, lesser on the deeper details of just politics, right. So, now that we have understood this part as well, now let us move to establish very important thing in terms of clarity, that when we are talking about leader of opposition, this is not a constitutional post. This is just a statutory position and this is recognized through legislative provisions and conventions. That means leader of opposition is nowhere mentioned in the constitution. This is present just because we have law-wise provision and convention. Another important thing that you need to remember to understand that how reality unfolds, when we are talking about leader of opposition, it is said that he needs 10% seats. Yes, that is a convention. That is not a compulsion. So in the reality, if we are looking at and the leader of opposition constitutionally, there is no specific requirement which exists. Yes, democratically it becomes important, or it is something that helps in establishing the position who is holding the voice of opposition. It shows that there is accountability of the government. It provides the institutionalized opposition voice to the whole assembly and more, but at the same time this is not something that is present in constitution. Now that we have understood the whole case that has unfolded, let us also look at the broader implications around this particular case, because this has shown us some serious governance flaw, where we clearly see that anti-defection law definitely with the right intent has been placed, but at the same time it has limits. It was definitely, yes, introduced with the idea to put a curb on defection, with the idea to ensure political stability, maintain party discipline, but at the same time problems such as curtailing the decision making and independence has been there, gives significant power to the speaker, and also it encourages defection if it touches the level of 2/3 party legislatures. So in this context, we have to look that it still has certain limits. This situation also shows that how there is growing factionalism within the political parties, which also talks about weak intra-party democracy. So in the end, this is a case where we get to see not just intersection of anti-defection law, the powers of speaker, but also that how domestic politics is seeing rise in factionalism and the effects around it. Now I'll be leaving you here with the prelims practice question. Let me know the answer to this one in the comment section. I hope you can see whole of the question. Let me know the answer to this in the comment section. I'll be waiting for your answers. That was all. Thank you so much.